Good afternoon, followers and viewers of Family Gambia Hour and subscriber of King TV. Family Gambia is a regional educational NGO of Liberia and Sierra Leone. For a couple of years back, where Liberia was experiencing civil war and children were involved in armed conflicts, killing fellow citizens without not knowing the use of guns. Coming down to Gambia, and then as an educational entity, we have this partnership with Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, where we conduct lecture activities in different platforms, in schools, communities, and media platforms, and that's why we are here. Today we are back for the same peace education talk show that we did in the radio, and today we are on the TV. And the topic today is walk a mile in your neighbor's shoes before you criticize him or her. Walk a mile in your neighbor's shoes before you criticize him or her. I have selected 3 questions to answer from the topic. If you also have questions or answers to give, you are also welcome. The first question is, why should we walk a mile in our neighbor's shoes before we criticize them? Why should we walk a mile in our neighbor's shoes before we criticize them? We walk a mile in our neighbor's shoes when we find him or herself in a difficult situation based on his mistake or her mistake that has happened to him or her. The mistake caused loss of a very expensive goods and could cause lack of food for the family. The family depends entirely on a small-scale business, making profit to feed the family. But there is a fire breakout in the house, destroys all the goods. There is a brother among the family who was trying to boil water on the gas, but could not have handled the gas with great care, causing the entire house catch fire. While he tried to put off the fire to remove the goods and property, he also catch fire until he become burned. The entire house was torn into ashes. He was sick with the agony of his mistake, and tears began to stream down his face as the neighbors approached, including the family, because his mistake had just caused the loss of a very expensive good and properties, and could cause the loss of a business that the family is dependent on. As a neighbor, just imagine if this was you or me, what could be our anger towards the man? As we imagine family anger and lashing of tongue on the man due to his carelessness. That is number 1. So therefore, if we are to use our tongue on the mistake of others based on and due to their carelessness, the question is, are we making peace? Number 2, how could we walk a mile in our neighbor's shoes before we criticize them? The answer is, let us try to understand people by asking them why they did what they have done instead of condemning their mistakes. We should not scold or lash our tongue on others or even criticize them instead. We put our big arm around the man's shoulder and say, I am so, you will never do this again. I want you to boil water tomorrow, or to give him another chance or another task, as you will give him the support for him to do another task, because of you have not condemned him or her due to his mistake. That will give him the chance to carry out another task. We should not criticize the mistake of others, because whenever you criticize people's mistake, get ready to be criticized. as no man is an island. Every human being is bound to make mistakes. Today is me, tomorrow might be you. Let us be very careful to be angry on our neighbor's mistake, but we need to appreciate the mistake of others. Number 3, what is the advantage of walking in our neighbor's shoes before we criticize them? The answer is, this will be more profitable as it will show how we feel sympathetic to each other, build tolerance among ourselves, and kindness towards our neighbors, wives, children, and other extended families. That should lead to peaceful coexistence and peaceful living instead of criticizing others in order to help us live together in harmony. Most of us did not know how to appreciate people, but the only thing we can do is to criticize others while they also be criticizing us, by forgetting we spend most of our time with our neighbors, wives, children, and other extended families. We become angry on our neighbors for their mistakes, but we did not think of how to help our neighbors with the agony they are going through. We react negatively, trying to inspect every single mistake that comes his or her way in order to express our feeling of approving what you think is correct or wrong. Or his mistake. They have gone through a mistake, but instead we want to inspect every mistake that the individual has gone through. We are alone, and we are always happy to see the mistake of our neighbors, just to be criticizing on their mistakes, especially when he has something that you don't have. You will always like to envy that individual, because as we will never like to see him succeed in life, or you will never like to see his happiness, because you envy that what he has, you don't have it. So you will never like to see him succeed in life or to become happy in life. We tend to forget that one day we might also get something, because life is for everybody. If you envy someone, another person will also envy you whenever you get something more than him or her. He feels jealousy. The moral for this, because of time, what we are trying to say here is to learn from this topic. Number 1, what do we learn from this topic? He teaches us how we should have sympathy, tolerance, and kindness that we need to possess for peaceful coexistence towards our neighbors, our children, our wives, our husbands, and our other extended families, instead of criticizing them, because we all make mistakes, as no man is an island. It could be me today and you tomorrow. He shows us how, that is the topic, we can be peaceful with our neighbors in trying to understand them by asking why they did what they have done, instead of condemning for their mistakes. The lesson has taught us moral support in a gentle and supportive manner towards our neighbor's mistake, So why are we condemning the mistake of others? Why do we all feel happy to see that someone had a mistake and we start to point fingers to that individual? And we want to live as a country. We want to live as a family. We want to live as a community. How can we exist? How can we live when we are always trying to throw words against each other? Throwing words against each other, what do we get from there? How can that move us to the next level? You try to judge me without not finding the real fact about how and why these mistakes have been done. I am living with my neighbors. I am not having the peace of mind because they keep criticizing me in one way or the other. They thought that what I am thinking should be the same as the way they are thinking. My like and our dislike is totally different. But they are forcing me to be like them. And that is why they are criticizing me, which is not possible. And we call ourselves Muslims. Where is our religion? Is that what the religion is calling for? Is that the society we live? We will never move and develop as a community, as a society, as a country, if we don't consider each other as we are all one people in this country. If we don't appreciate each other, that any single mistake that somebody has done, you always want to criticize that individual, forgetting that you will also have the same mistake because you are not perfect. Because of what? You envy me. I have something that you don't have, and you want to have. You don't want to see my happiness, and you don't want to see my success in life. And maybe if I succeed, perhaps that could be a huge development, not only in our family, not only in our communities, but the greater society they call the Gambia. The skills and talent I am having, that could make differences to change the life of millions, not only in the Gambia, but the whole world. So, when do you think, and you can benefit from that? If you don't benefit from that, your children can benefit from that, or any other person can benefit from that, if you call yourself a decent Gambian. And that's why we're going to have a decent community that is fit for every individual to live in a society. How can we communicate clearly to understand how we live together, to give that honor and that value as human beings on earth? Then if you keep on criticizing every mistake I have, then you don't value humanity. Are you a human being? Because if you check yourself, you put yourself in the shoes of others, you will always consider others, because you will see them as yourself. Whatever pain somebody is going through, you will see that, yes, I'm also having the same pain. Because you can also get the same pain. It happens to you every day in life, whether you like it or not. Everybody goes through stress. This is part of our human endeavor. Everybody wants to make a difference in life. So, why and making differences, we must live together, because we depend entirely on each other. That's why we have a country. That's why we have a family. We all know that a man alone cannot have children to build up a family. That's why you need a partnership. The partnership is a woman. A man cannot be completed without a woman, and a woman cannot be completed without a man. So, if a man take you from your family and bring you to your family, his family, my sisters, you should know that a man has loved you. So why are you comparing that man with other men? To try to criticize. What kind of wife are you? You are not ready to be married, because physically, mentally, psychologically, you are not prepared, because you don't lack maturity and responsibility as a woman. I told this, a woman who is ready to bring peace in the family, must be submissive to her husband, must be listening attentively to her husband, must respect her husband, but must not go outside to have plenty friends. In fact, any woman who is married, your friend should be your husband. Your husband is your friend. Your husband is your father. Your husband is your husband. Your husband is your everything. Why are you having friends outside? For what? And women are very dangerous. Those friends you are having outside, what they are not doing in their homes with their husband, that's what they are telling you. And if you are very con and naive and very stupid, you follow suit and they will clap, they will be at one side, laugh at you. Look at this stupid lady. You are the one who will agree on this. You are the one who will agree on this. When actually they are doing something more dangerous, more difficult. And everybody is going to your graveyard. Man, you cannot bring somebody's child to the family and then you cannot take up your responsibility as a man. You cannot take up your relationship role as a man. My brothers, you are not ready to get married. Don't involve yourself in marriage. When you are in your booth, when you are with your friends, you start criticizing your wife. Tell all kind of words to your wife. My wife is this, my wife is that and that. When actually, you can change your wife from one level to another. If that wife loves you, I underline the word if that wife is a good listener, we should listen to each other. When we listen to each other, we will have limited time to criticize ourselves. So a man should set standards that this is what I want and this is what I don't want, because the woman is meant to be submissive. And I condemn this so-called 24th century, where women will say, I have voice over my man. I could also speak out, and the man is obedient to me. Where am I? Well, you are created by God to be a slave. And since then, since the creation of human beings, nothing has changed. So, if women are thinking the line, everywhere. How can we live in our homes? How can we live in our communities when we don't like each other? When we have problems between two people, instead of solving the problem, you start to amplify the problem. When do we think for the interest of our common value that is needed for as far as Gambia is concerned? How do we think we can exist? We just call ourselves a country, but we don't exist. Today you are here speaking for something that is not realistic. Tomorrow you are going to tell something different from what you said here. Are we serious? Are we serious? What is the difference between a political thief and an ordinary thief? When we are criticizing each other, we will not have time to even identify the real people that are good for us to lead us as far as the politics is. The trend of politics is never changed in this country. The way we are politicking, we go and put all nasty things. No decency in our politics. No justice in our politics. Full of injustice. Full of hypocrisy. Full of nepotism. Mr. X is my relative. I have to employ him. Is it qualified? The ordinary thief steal your money, your bag, your materials. But the political thief steal your future, your career, your education, your health, and your business. So Gambia, why will you allow politicians to come and give you money, bag of rice, to feed you for only one day and sell your entire 5 years? You go and sell your entire 5 years. Who will suffer? You will suffer. Because that bag of rice he bought for you is only a period of time. That food will finish. And then you start crying again. Number two, the hilarious part is that the ordinary thief will choose whom to rob. But you are the one who choose political thieves to rob you yourself. Let us be very careful in identifying the right people for all our institutions, for all our government structures. That's the only way we can save this country. And I'm warning, the system we have since the colonial era, that system must change. Cannot move this country anywhere. Any leader who comes will continue the same trend of leadership. Until we have committed leaders who are ready and have the country at heart, are not greedy. They can even take bicycles as their vehicle instead of demanding for expensive cars for luxurious life. We have to identify those kind of leaders. Do we in fact have that? Yes, we have that, but we tend to neglect those people because we believe that politics is about money, to spend money. Politics is not like that. People who are committed without not being told what to do around the clock and have a vision to change the lives of people, not themselves. We blindly say we are not blind. We are blind. Who is deceiving here? Because if you choose a wrong person, who is deceiving yourself? You are empowered to choose the right person. You go and choose wrong person because of tribe, because of party, because of relative, because of, I don't even know, these reasons. But is still the person that is fit for this country? The answer is no. The ridiculous part of the whole issue is that we will fight to defend these political people who are thieves. We fight consistently and we keep on criticizing ourselves. Endless politics that will not give us, that will not take us anywhere. and we build hatred among ourselves to bring that political differences among ourselves. When actually, our politicians are not driving us the right way. So how can we develop as a country? When are we going to stop criticizing the mistake of others? When are we going to criticize each other as Gambians? When are we start to stop throwing bullets to each other as far as our common values are concerned? Wherever we are, when we sit down in our ghettos, we don't talk about things that will develop this country. We will only talk about Mr. X, Mr. Batabala, Mr. Nessa. Well, what are we learning from there? What do we get there? And we call ourselves Muslims? When actually, every time you talk about somebody bad or good, something is written against you. Is that the way we can develop as a country? And when that person will also see that, well, all the talents he has will keep his appetite low, then he cannot give out all what he has. He cannot give out all what he has. So, disobedience, lack of responsibilities, and there will be no benefit. This is what is going to lead us as a country. And that's where we are going. Other countries are moving every day. We are going back because we don't value what we have. I have something that you don't have. You don't value what I have. You always try to undermine me for what I have. What can you get what I have? You will never. Because it's not your talent. It's not your skills. You are not meant to be that. Not everybody has wisdom. Not everybody can make difference in life. Not everybody is intelligent. You cannot block people's chance and opportunities. You are denying yourself. Kal konton kal jey bidu nin topi go mena wala ko bari ngalon ko family Gambia tam ko fede mi alon ko akuma sunu Liberia le mi alon ko san dol sorota Liberia be fitno kono Sierra Leone kata wala na West Africa tundo kata Africa na dunia fitno be lawd la be ate bonu la abe control luolu isonta o fitno be kerine e balanta o fitno be kerine anu luolu na woti ba kono dro ñindi ñu mi alon ko e wuluta e man karang e man ku kolo nyalong e man kido fo na fa long e wulta dro ko me ñadon ko furu me alon ko ñadon ko kalantango me alon ko kunklin na fa ani ñadon ko ya so called power and greed ani hadumo ay kido di newul la akoy ko alga dum ngama sakunda kudeta membe sirin Liberia wala keta civil war in Liberia wodi newul damale ñomuta e ñol Liberia dengul ke fa o jibe don kata wala banku dolto so wala na rago family Gambia bayri karam bundanam anu karawnu atala mu chabo de menka bundayela hadama de way pray faham ndirke muna mata nafa ko mudi balwo kono ne Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education na ñomuta nata ko kudi nyalan ko ni ale yake ale ndema sinin sama yirwa so sono duala me da mbal dan wala pral so keno pour ka fo ay yirwa katum fitno be kanne luolu bar pour ka mol karandi karambul to pour ka mol karandi medial to wala binna ta jang an watu bo kanne anin kata kabilol to sol ko tare ni sembo sorfa o do kamala demaron sulata wala batal bar mol bi jang ido ko do kan ko me ko na fatala ko do be kasara kan ito deftan solo la je na fataye je nyaado taye te je bar pour ye fendu nu mole kono ay mol la baru nya falendi mole londo soto je pour ye faham ido balande wala e man son o kol tala sina ala do ni fata be nyinin kala o famo men adila na floje ya tamon ni nyali ita ko muslimo wala moyto wala kristiano wala moyto nimme na la wala ko nka sudi abata wata kalin signolo kafi fe nka ka wata ke chori ko le mele ko ela la njur ko le wolti mele ko aka mobele ma ngani ngaro tombon ne pour ñin topi ko kono ni fanen jini karo sor pour ka jaabi isi hakil de be dawada andu mo be dawada pour 40 ans ifan si fan karanje folo wala ko isi munek munatinda nyanda ka tawon signol la bul kono wala nga siwru na signol la sabul kono nga lo bandala karata wala ke chodi ko ma jawal foye ntolu nyanda ka tawon signol kono wato wati ka suter ke ila la njuro men kane kan yana ka kole a kolleti ando kole a ko ka kulti mi alan ko ka la njuro ti mi alan ko mo buka duwala bal wo kono kala la njuro ke tiñarol mo be keri mo te keri mi alan ko ala tiñarol mi alan ko ka tiñaroti bal wolto aske tiñaroti sugol kono baade mo dimbala kolto anen do mo mi alan ko ba do mo la anu aske mo dimbala la bal wobe wala kono ibela jaral ko be men do ganan ko business wol mi alan ko business ding e ke fero ke wolto ke la bal wol dimbal balu ndu wala wolna daga kudi mi alan ko ay dimba mala suwo kono akere la njuro ci woni e kadun go bu nekata ay gaso la mala o gaso ni amanna mara kuno ana rake takati dimba mala suwo kono bube janta domoro be janta temmantu bu ngono ko de ya abeti nya anu amana gaso ni fano amana gaso ni fano ata fona ta ajanta o pol kono sen boñi melan ko alafta ka dimbani fa wala gaso ni ka fini de bu ngono yana la njuro ke ata fona ta jani men na take ko ay bube ke sebutot bube na take sebutot ak nyoko ya ta fakara abul sasati kata kumbodo la fa nyaajo banta sila signol bina kanna kan yaje ko lanjuro keta me atinyaro sababu sokono fawon bebe sokono abe tinyata hani business noko me yaran ko ka business o kala abe tinyata ka do buñim be keta sebur kensan sila ida signo ajibere ninyi muital walante ndol be kala nyaade fo nde kam fala o koyin kamala ba wala chawyin kamala ba men kam fata la pour kan newta ka choda ba me alan ko lan fo la woti ama fam marano wala mu kudi me alan ko nyinin karo ko mol jaabi ak mol nyinin ka wala nyinin karo flanyo isi muna keno pour ka taman signol la samudo kono nga duwe kono samudo kono jani me lola bantalan ke chodi kuma kawon la mi alan ko kuma kan jawlu mi alan ko itani de defensor la je nga kato ke baake pour ka fahamun ke molla nga mol faham ak koleata soniata nga mol faham kadun ko ni be mo nyinin ka kan pour a long munatinna nyin ko keta asi kuma ya baake janni bita ka jalay ala erreur la nyanda nkana song nga nawol ta ka di molla ko kuma tlimbalol fo ko kuma jawol foye kaman toro kuma fo mi alan ko sinin sama aske ni toroti aske ni kuyati altina la ban lol sila nyokan woto akuma da fan pour ni si bulo nano asanyo kan no ka sawar ni ka fan go tuma no ba do kana so nyin ko e kala ko dege isaje sinin sama ni ya fa ko nyinke asi wakil ka keno wala ni abula ko do la so keno bari ni aso ni toro ya ko ni kuyala ata sonna pour ko 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 dege alankana mol chodi nga wakil ntakal sonka kuma tin malo fo nyoye me alon ko askenya la njuroti sinin sama na sinyado koleal nga tankaran dirke ka kato ke bake puru ntakal so wato wati molle la njuru kol nga tulatla nga ke kajafiroti nke kajafiro kan odo ni mo ke na sinyado koleal bakel de ha nit moye chodi ika mo chodi ka la njuru kol te ka chodi o de fane pare de amari fane be chodi la wat mina silat mo be kata be momentimma bon ko fale anu hadamade akata asla njuro soto no bi ndela ngala njuro soto sama askeno tani woto alnga hakiltu bake ngakal mi so tammini kol kono men satina askenye jalay kolti misi jolla ko nga song na la jurol lo wato wati ni na kandro nga fereke wala jurol betangano la nyame bare ngaka lo kan newti nyaaw moliye ke la jurol ta ke kala fi okam men satina sidi sama isna hameno nta hameno nyokam fa nyo jawya ta randa matema me do ko ke no nyaadi me mira ken no so la nyaade pour ndamale sino pour ko mi alon control be na famu kumendi isaye sinin sama because ni e man toro soto mo jani mo ba kalamta isignol fo ba kalamta so mo ne jarda wala ibe newti ne o signo nyinna wato wadi be kumol fulaye mi alon ko kuma jawul ita fonta fasod la danan alanga hakkel to ndakal di so tambe de wato wat sabanyaw ni ngar sabanja ko mun nafala be je pour ngan sumudum na signol kono isaje janni bita ke kajafi ila lanjur kolto isi hakil to ku sifal to bake ako nyina tino warta bake jabiro wala fa ko nyina tino warta bake andu fanan abe sujila nyo kanola pour bala fa nyoe ka hina nyola pour ka nyo ma ko hane watu warta nyo ma ko signol to na musol na chawul ndewul anin mbadin kote ngolu me alon ko abe kalanye kayra kolti ndamal tema abe kayro yi wanda ndamal tema yo wato butuma dam kuldi sila pour ka tare andike kolla bayri wato ndo jama be je mbuka sutere ke anin fanan song molla la nyuru kolla me akatina akam batani akan tora na sinyo ka kolea men ka diyan tole an men kan to tari andi faw wala mu ngalo na chodi ngako ma jawol faye ita ka nyine fan ni mu ya ketala to diale mun ba de ka ke doy ndol ko wado wadin ka ngaw kolke me alon ko nyo kam fande kul ndam mal tema me alon ko ke comme mola la juru ko do isna do nga jafa kan do isi son ko mol faye me alon ko man di man fon kay sa wala ko jama be je moy fon soto ita ma soto sila ite wo sai wete ni okuya sai man la fa kayrola iman la fa nyaato tala iman la fa tan soto ila fo dron même ba bulu fon ay tinya wala kan dol fon kata mori yala kanyo jawya pour kar fa même ba bulu kono ha isinyo ikasa moro ya pour même ba bulu ay tinya ni frère alay bomo frère alay to men di mola ite fo ko tinya mare bulu ko itla alat ite ko muslimol ikasal ikasu muslimi anon fede ko ite mundo mosbal ibe jigir mu ne christian di sempi mu ne ba tinan tu bo kala sa wadi ban do be yiri wala kado askero nde yiri wata jama be nafa so na ko tole kado be society le kono be sabatere jama la kono anu be kuben ke kam pour jama la na fale kado nyamo do kuo e ka do ko ke pour moli jama so interest e nafa so de kuma bang wato skamala sa mu ne batina ndol watu mo sifal dina fanna katum ko ndol be ala dunia baluwo aw mo bele bi ni ende jawya sama skeno ngasoto oto kanan kajafi kula mealon ko ita fenso to la je ita na faso la je abe kala kamfa dronati deni tewa abe kala tadi tema ni ka da malti abe kala ni tema kudi mealon ko na signado koleala sama sini ni ku keta ndo dammal to le siri ita man to nyuma ko no nyalle sai ni nga yebo ku ko mi alon ko bantoro la ha la nyino la kolea kolem alan daro la mi siri no jele kare kula tenen ayen kan fa ni manga kayra mod aba koleala pour ngi so am abutano na do ku dinkiral faranto nga tilimbala nyola na do ku dal anum to lebe siri mo do ku dal ngasi nga kumol fo joye do ku lato kar ten ha ite bo mari foku yala iba mol fly andu niya fo jata diale ibo ko mo sifa be fray andi den yon iten do ko la clean al de hamen ko yeme kala tara mur cleaner nyanon ko askaya fine bati o do ko gayin bilat suba bunatina watu gofa kal tentu kal jey fo lokunala
Yeah.